Once again, a warm welcome to you in today's edition of the Morning Call. Separatist groups active in Cameroon's English-speaking regions are being accused of torture and abuse against civilians. According to the Human Rights Watch, the groups have violated the human rights of dozens of people, including children. In a report published on Monday, the rights group says it has documented numerous cases of torture by armed separatists in the past year alone. In a video verified by a dozen sources, armed separatists can be seen torturing a man in an abandoned school in the northwest region of the country in mid-May this year. The Human Rights Watch is now calling on Cameroon's international partners and the UN Security Council to impose targeted sanctions on separatist leaders who bear responsibility for abuses, including torture. It should be noted that since the late 2016, the Anglophone regions of Cameroon have been gripped by deadly violence, claiming the lives of over 1,800 people and forcing 500,000 to flee their homes.
So the two English-speaking regions have been in turmoil for several months. The secessionists milited for the creation of an independent state in the northwest and southwest regions. If life seems to have fallen behind on this side, the guns they have not stopped crackling since. The NGOs regularly denounce abuses committed by both sides.
And to talk about this report by the Human Rights Watch is Eric Tato, an activist in Cameroon, speaking to us from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much for accepting to speak to us today, Eric. So what do you make of this report?
I think the accusation of the Amber Boys for torture is not true because the Human Rights Watch have failed to understand that there are three other categories of Amazonian fighters before the re-Amazonian fighters. Number one, there are Amazonian fighters that are created. They are militias of the Cameroon government. What they call the guy they call Tangan Jipor is Minister of Territorial Administration. He creates his own Amber Boys and use them to fight, kidnap people, torture people, and make videos and put out there so that the international community would understand that it's Amazonian fighters who are doing it, and in which case he would have successfully corroded the image of the Amazonian fighters. Number two, there are highway robbers and thieves who have taken advantage of the crisis, which is normal in any revolution. You are in Congo, you know how it is in Africa. So they cannot say that this is absolutely Amazonian fighters. And the last group of these fake Amazonian fighters are disguised military men who are working on their own volition. As military men, they disguise, they pick up people, torture them, take ransom, and sometimes if you refuse to give ransom, they would kill you. That's why in most cases you have seen the bullet wounds on victims that have been tortured. They are exactly the bullet from the Cameroon elite armed force known as the B, that's the Rapid Intervention Battalion, like it is called in French, B. I think basically that is what the Human Rights Watch will understand. And to say that, that is not to say that Amazonian fighters might not have a little bit of excesses, but most of the cases of torture, if not all, are done by these other three groups that I've just mentioned.
So
according to UN figures, the crisis has already driven 530,000 people from their homes and killed just over 1,000 people. Do you think there's a solution to this crisis?
The solution lies in one thing, for the international community to do the Amazonian people justice by giving them, restoring them to their former state as it was in 1961. It is their right. The people of Southern Cameroon were cheated, they were colonized, and they are still colonized. And colonization is a crime. I want to tell you, my brother, a lot of guns are now in the hands of the Amazonian fighters who are using it only to defend themselves. And if the international community does not want another complete chaos in the world, let them step in and then make sure that they reinstitute the boundaries of the British former Southern Cameroon, the former West Cameroon that was colonized by Ayujo and then recolonized again by Paul Biya. So I think that is the solution. The solution is not even in a referendum. It's just doing justice to the Amazonian people by giving their independence.